Sign number 2 I labeled Inadequacy of the Elite. Bible says, if God wants to punish someone, He takes away their sanity. And that's exactly what happens to members of the elite class in civilizations that approach their end time. Elite is made up of many subgroups: artistic, political, scientific, military, and so many more. For the sake of brevity, we will examine that strange version of dementia in political and business elites. How do elites, politicians and businessmen, function in healthier times? If I was to pick a metaphor, I would imagine a country civilization as a farm. Analogy is primitive and doesn't cover the whole complexity, but will do all right. The elite class is similar to family of farmers. Yes, they can have conflicts and arguments about the best way to run things, but overall, everyone is interested in family venture being successful. Populace can be viewed as fruit trees and livestock, the very soil that is getting farmed. The more of it our hypothetical farm got, the more healthy it is, the better. Between other envious farmers, wolves and pests stands a pack of guard dogs. These are your police officers and soldiers. The more prosperous venture is, the more of them they need. But what happens when one son of a farmer decides that he is too good for life on, albeit successful, but rural farm and he'd be better off in a city, demands his share of inheritance and takes it out of existing order of things to the offshore account in Citibank? And what if at the same time the farmer's daughter starts to get very close and intimate with every criminal element she can find, shows way into the thieves and robbers who wrestle most of the cattle, and runs away with all of her mom's jewelry? Third's child starts scheming against the rest of the family, thinking he is the only one who really knows best. He sabotages every order given by his parents, spreads nasty rumors about family members making them fight one another, and in his youthful stupidity fails to understand just how much damage his progressive, new way of thinking is doing. He is too concerned with damage done to the environment by methane in lambs' and cows' fart, so day and night he screws in special and very expensive silencers in poor animals' areas of the body where sun don't shine. To top it off, at some point the farmer's wife decides that she deserves more, needs to get in touch with herself, and starts the divorce proceedings, threatening to pull apart what belongs to the whole family like Thanksgiving turkey, and wants to put her soon-to-be ex-husband in the financial shackles of alimony and child support. Extended family, looking on in awe at how things are falling apart, is rushing to carve out at least a piece of once beautiful rich farm before it goes bankrupt. Starved and neglected guard dogs, instead of fighting off wolves and intruders, are gradually giving into hunger and turning into wolves themselves, starting to eat up what's left of livestock and even looking with gastronomical interest at their owners. Apocalyptic picture, isn't it? Yet, if I think about it, it's not so different from where we might be heading. I was amazed to see how readily businesses chased pennies, putting to life the folk saying, "Greedy pays twice." By its nature, business is short-sighted, but never thought it could be that much. When the developing world opened up its labor market to foreign investors, most of them gladly took an offer to save on wage difference. Factories in their country of origin got shut, while backward countries got industrialized for free, giving rise to potential competition that 40 years ago couldn't even dream of such arrangements. Qualified personnel had to quickly learn new, oftentimes useless trades, losing the skills, the opportunity to pass on their knowledge to the next generation, and passion. And domestic business elites turned into transcontinental corporations, with most of their assets anywhere but on the home turf. And now, more domestically oriented members of the business elite desperately scramble to bring back the industry before every potential engineer, electrician, and scientist is going to become a cafe barista or an expert in gender studies. Yet it seems their efforts are in vain. As ancient Greeks used to say, you can't walk into same river twice. Things have changed. Industrialization of the Western world took centuries of efforts by millions of people and countless sacrifices. Looking around me and seeing all the soy boys who never lifted anything heavier than their proud 4 inches in front of a toilet bowl and feminutted blue-haired girls, whose only concern is their right to pile up the body count and bodily autonomy. I doubt our society is capable of facing same challenges of creating similar output as our forefathers. So instead of real economy, like mines, machining, electronics, car manufacturing, etc., we get virtual bubbles, like Facebook, Google, Twitter, Apple. I don't know about you, my dear viewer, but if the car I drive falls apart, if I have to choose between full cart of groceries or full tank of petrol, if compromise is between paying ungodly expensive electricity bill or saving for my kids' education, all of the above have far greater negative effect on me and my family than if tomorrow Apple stops producing iPhones or Facebook disappears. And I find it to be simply wrong that companies that produce nothing but strings of binary code have greater capitalization and influence than companies that produce military hardware or grow food that sits on your table. What about the political elite? To me, outlook is equally gloomy. Instead of fixing national debts, increasing productive output of a nation, reforming inadequate justice system, and dealing with rising crime and other things they are meant to do, for what us, the people, allowed them to raise above and given up certain degree of autonomy, they get up to no good. Part of them imports hostile population from abroad, hoping to use them to create a display of political support and, potentially, to use them in suppression of discontent of local population. Some of them create vicious political street gangs of extremist nature and use them as arm of power in any disputes that rise between them and their opponents. Many of them feel that greatest threat to prosperity and stability are the very people who built the host country with them and do their best to disarm them. Advance two-tier justice system. Suppress their rightful outbursts against system that fails them. Advance unneeded minorities through every means necessary, etc., etc. Elite that unconsciously feels its weakness also likes to play wedge game. In order to maintain their purely parasitic lifestyle within the conditions of failing power, they start implementing the divide and conquer maxim on their own home turf. Needless to say, it doesn't help. At best, that game extends the agony of the elites and costs overall population chances of survival. Here's how it works. Elite drives in wedges between civilized and barbarian groups of population, between husbands and wives, children and parents, religion and science, heterosexual normies, and alphabet mafia. The list goes on and on. In short term, it is disorganizing people, makes them incapable of unification against corrupt and weakened enemy within due to infighting, and also makes country where it happens vulnerable against foreign aggression or groups of people capable of uniting that are normally hostile to local culture. To top it off, as always, unchecked elite is trying to force ages-old maxim of rules for thee, but not for me. They try to live their lives like they are second to God, as if bounds of laws and morality don't apply to them. Thus, we get interesting news about retreats like Epstein Island and lost list of people who were debauching there, hear rumors of non-medical drugs, fueled wild orgies, criminal cases dropped or not even investigated. Say hi to Hunter's Notebook and everything else along those lines. What we would do well to memorize is how we got here. While Western world was in the Dark Ages, it was submerged in feudalism. Barons, counts, and dukes were running the show and taking full advantage of their subjects, while zealously guarding their positions of power. But at least during that time, war was everyday reality, and it was their sacred duty to take part in it. Common folk was playing role of a spectator more than anything. Then with the rise of wealthy merchant and trade classes with non-professional soldiers playing more important role on the battlefield, especially with the advance of use of firearms, more and more people asked why they should have to call gradually outdated warrior elite of the past highnesses and majesties, why put up with ever-rising taxes, abuses of power, and personal rightlessness. Elite course corrected with absolute monarchy, trying to put checks on feudal lords, but it was a rather half-baked solution. Thus, feudalism was challenged by the initiative from below, capitalism. And since Catholic Church was on board with noblemen and kept telling populace that blessed be all poor and meek, for theirs is heavenly kingdom, the emerging capitalism responded with Protestantism. On the more down-to-earth level, capitalism was luring people in with promises of equal rights, sensible laws, and social lifts for everyone worthy. But elites are always elites. They tried pushing boundaries every time it felt safe to do so. After monarchies lost power, they tried. But Russian Revolution and following repressions of ruling class in that country convinced them that it's cheaper to share and pamper their working class, rather than continue and at some point be lined up against the wall. Then Soviet Union collapsed, and now, feeling unchallenged, they try to expand their authority yet again, little by little. And considering the demented state of our society's so-called leaders, their actions are contributing to a fecal storm of magnitude so big that it will bury them 6 feet under. Us, normal people, will also be no doubt affected. But the more poor we are, the less we stand to lose, we have a chance to survive. It's the rich classes that will suffer full consequences of the downfall. Their assets will be worth nothing, and the new elite won't stop until old competition is erased to the last remnant, and everything they once possessed changed owner. And here is something else to think about. Despite vanity of the modern elite, people don't see them as their superiors. I don't know about you, my dear viewer, but when I look at them, I feel contempt, as if I look at something dirty. I have to look very hard to see them as humans at all. What will we respond with if they call us to war, or if they ask us to sacrifice something for what they think is important? Personally, I don't trust them at all, and even if what they say is important, I will double guess and doubt their intentions every step of the way. Cortez, Peter the Great, Napoleon, Stalin, Karl XII. For all their shortcomings and brutality, these members of the elite commanded respect of their contemporaries. If war began, they either took part in it or gave it their children. People saw that the elite asks of them what it is ready to put on the line. Not anymore. And people answer in kind. Now I can understand why, when Rome was sieged by ragtag Gothic militia, city of 1 million people couldn't find enough men to defend the walls properly. In all of the developed world, I can maybe think of 1 or 2 examples of leaders who still command respect of their people, and they are loathed by other members of the upper class. A good way to tell if the elite in your country is still sane or not is to see how detached from reality it is. You see, it has access to far greater resources than you. Its members are living in nice suburbs, surrounded by private securities. Schools where children of our leaders study are free of unwanted elements that fill your child's school. They live a different reality. But if the elite is healthy in the head, it understands that it pays attention to what happens past its walled-off mansions. Yet, there comes time when all sense is lost. Marie Antoinette, the last pre-revolutionary queen of France, famously shown that level of detachment from the real world. When an angry mob of people gathered outside her palace, she asked her advisors, "What is the meaning of all this noise?" "People are complaining that they have no bread, Your Majesty," was the reply. "Well, tell them to eat cake then," said the queen. Some months later, she was executed in front of this angry mob for failing to understand what her subjects' needs were. We don't have to go that far. I just want you to see what policies do politicians implement in your country. How do they speak? Do they understand you and your needs? Do they know that you are low on bread? Or do they think you are low on green energy? Do they share your concerns with ethnic street gangs that run amok in schools and streets? Or do they demand higher numbers of migrants that have no intentions to integrate? Do they accommodate everyone that challenges what is considered normal? Or do they take care of the productive part of population? Are they upholding your rights, or are they advancing rights of outer fringe freaks at your expense? The answer is out there, to be continued.